Hello, and welcome to the podcast JubilAge with your host, Carol Chiarito. Carol, really good to be with you again, and welcome to episode 2 to you and to your listeners. How are you?
Yeah. Hey, Bill. I'm doing well, other than it's really hot out here in Colorado. But, one of these days I'll be complaining that it's too cold. So.
Well, the last episode, the inaugural episode, if you will, we learned a little bit about you and why you do what you do, the background and the history, origin story, I guess is the big phrase these days. Today, I want to delve a little deeper into what this podcast is about. And so to do that, I'm going to start with the name, JubilAge. Where did that come from? What's that about?
So JubilAge is a combination of jubilant and aging. So jubilant aging, right? It's not a common word, right? We don't usually use those two words together. So that's what I want to do, is try to get people to age a little bit more happily. And to do that, I feel like the more you know, the more you know, the more you know, and the better things are. So the podcast is all about sharing things that we know, giving people resources so they can age happily. JubilAge.
JubilAge. I like that, actually, because as I remind people all of the time when they say, well, I'm getting older, I'm like, but you celebrated your birthday, and that's a whole lot better than not celebrating your birthday.
That's right.
As a matter of fact. So remind us again, we talked about this in the first episode, but remind us again, what is the focus of your business, of this podcast?
The focus of JubilAge and what I'm doing is really threefold. The first one is guiding advisors, because as a former financial advisor, and I still do a little financial advising on the side, but I'm trying to give advisors a new angle to talk to their clients and to create an interest in financial advisors to have a little bit more fun and have different types of conversations with their clients besides just the charts and graphs and rate of return and numbers and right.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I've had those conversations. Yes, I understand.
But also to be a little bit more futuristic with their clients at any age of what's going to happen next. And, one of the things I may have said in the last episode was one of the terms that we as advisors tend to throw out a lot is, hey, you're in this for the long term. Just hang in there. We're in this for the long term. Right. Well,
you're in it for the long term now. Just relax.
That's right.
I've heard that a lot of times.
So when does the long term become the short term? Right. Well, if you're 85, do you think we're still in it for the long term? Or so thinking a little bit outside that box of what we've always been told with about our money and how to spend our money, those kinds of things. The other side is what I said a little bit earlier in inspiring seniors and teaching seniors different and better ways to think about their futures. So planning a little bit more ahead, but also through our guests of financial advisors themselves, I'm so excited that I have a most amazing list of, can I call it what are they called? My A friends, whatever. Advisors around the country who have amazing ideas of what they can share with seniors that our seniors who are listening to this podcast probably would not find elsewhere. So we're going to be able to inspire seniors, teach advisors. And the third thing is looking for advisors who really want to have fun. Invite Betty and I over for a party to celebrate with their own aging clients, or maybe the kids of the aging clients, or maybe both, and have a whole nother look at things.
I like that because, I've known many older people who in their retirement are like, they're worried about running out of money because that's what they've been taught to worry about. And in fact, their financial situation, Carol, is actually pretty solid. And they could be thinking about their focus. Let's say their focus could be really different. And in your case, it could be a lot more joyful, is what you're talking about.
The one of the funniest things that I like to tell my clients is, you've saved up all this money. What are you going to do with it? Well, we're going to leave it to our kids, they'll say. And I'll say, you know what? The first thing your kids are going to do when they get that money, they're going to go spend it. They're going to go on a
Mm-hmm.
cruise, right? You may as well go on that cruise right now. It's the truth.
I
People
like
have this
that.
stockpile of money ready to go because they're going to give it to their kids. So, you know, anyway, different way of looking at things.
It's true. It is true, and I like it, as a matter of fact. So remind me again, why have you chosen to focus this way? It's a wonderful niche. It's a really unique way of looking at the topic. But how did you get here? Why did you decide on this?
Bill, I started in the financial advising business in 2004, and I had a niche market with the Colorado State Retirement Plan and teaching people how it worked. I'm a teacher,
Mhm.
really, at heart. That was what I went to college for. I taught elementary school. And so fast forward into the life as a financial advisor, I loved to teach people about their money. And I felt I would tell my clients, look, you got to care as much about your money as I do. So you're going to learn how this all works. And we're going to talk about this together.
Mm.
And then my mom started aging and she started having me help her more and more with her finances,
Mm.
even though I was her financial advisor, of course, right? Um, but before she started really doing some late life planning, I really hadn't thought about that 2 + 2 = 4 kind of scenario. So when she started coming to me and we started talking about what happens if she wanted to move into an assisted living or didn't want to and had to, all those different kinds of things, I started changing the way that I helped my other clients because it was opening my eyes to a whole nother door that I had not even opened or thought about opening until it
Mm.
happened to me. And I think that that's the way it is with a lot of things in life. We don't think about it until it happens to us or it happens to someone close to us. And so my mission was then became to help people think about these futuristic things that could and probably will happen to them as they age. And after I sold my advisory firm and moved into just insurance, I wasn't done yet. And the spark of imagination that always follows me around hit me for this particular podcast to work with
Mm.
advisors. I love public speaking. I've done it for several years, and now I'm just going to take it to a different level and have some fun with it.
I'm curious, what are some of the common problems? I realize everybody's, unique, and we all have our own concerns and stuff, but we also forget that we do share a lot of issues, if you will. What are some of the more common problems that you found across different folks that you've worked with that you can shed a light on, or maybe ease the burden a little bit on?
So, just a couple of things that come to mind. First of all, is family
Mm.
dynamics.
Mm.
When it comes to aging, there's always the bossy sister who takes over.
I have one of those, yeah.
Yeah. So, I was the bossy sister. I just want you to know. I still am, I suppose, if you talk to my brothers. But there's always someone in the family who thinks it's their job to do everything. And
Yeah.
then the families start fighting, and mom and dad are in the middle, and it really they didn't intend for it to come to this. But also, that's one part of it. The other side of it is just the financial situation altogether. How do you pay for elder care? Of course, as an insurance agent, I could say, well, you buy a long term care policy. Well, those are few and far between anymore. And if you don't have one and you need one now, it's probably too late. So
Yeah.
there's that. But let's talk about the realistic ways of how things are covered. What does Medicare cover? What does Medicaid cover? What does it mean to sell down your or spend down your assets and go on Medicaid? Is that really what you want to do? And that's what a lot of the places are advising, and you have to be really careful about that.
Ooh.
What happens if you're a veteran? What kind of benefits do you get as a veteran? Hey, what kind of benefits do you get as a wife or a spouse of a veteran? Oh, and guess
Mhm.
what? Did you know that you can get benefits as a parent of a veteran? So there's all kinds of things out there. And where do you go to get this information? I'm not asking advisors to know all this information because, good grief, there's so much to know. All I'm asking
Yeah.
is for advisors to know who to contact, or at least that they know that they're out there. But the biggest picture, or the biggest piece of this puzzle, Bill, if you think about it, is money. And who controls, if you have a financial advisor, your financial advisor's got that money. And, I say everything in life is a bucket of money. We're going to do a
Yeah,
whole
well,
show on
it's true. A
we're
lot
going
of
to
times
do a
it's
whole
true.
show on Carolisms, right? That's one of my sayings. But if your advisor holds that bucket of money, but they don't understand how it gets paid out, if your advisor is getting paid a percentage of that money under advising, maybe they don't want to let go of the money. So you have to be very careful in knowing that your advisor has got your best interest at hand. And on the other side, if I come to my mother's advisor and say, hey, you know what? We're going to take this whole $200,000 out and we're going to go spend it down so mom can go on Medicaid and get free care from the government. That advisor needs to know, that's probably not the best idea. And here's why. So
Yeah.
just getting educated about the system, those are the biggest things that I come across is, and I've helped many, many families sit down. I wrote a book a few years ago, several years ago now, called It's as Simple as Where You Live. And
Mm.
it talks about a few people going through this situation with their parents. But my favorite chapter is called The Kitchen Table Talk. And that's just getting the family to sit down at the kitchen table together
Mm-hmm.
and listen to what mom and dad want.
Mm.
And that, Bill, becomes the number one issue is we don't talk about this stuff. We don't talk
No.
about it
No.
with each other, let alone our family. And so having the conversations to begin to think about what you want, knowing what you don't want is also key.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And so by us having these conversations about money and long-term care and trips to Italy or whatever it is you're going to do, it all comes together to create those buckets of money that will benefit us all or everyone in the future.
Yeah. First of all, is that book still available? If folks are listening to this and they
It
want to
is
get a
still
copy of that
available.
book, is it
Yeah.
still out there?
Amazon.com. It's probably on
Name
sale.
of it again?
It's as simple as Where You Live, a
Very
guide
nice.
to entering the elder care journey. I don't know. I should know the name of my own book, but
Well, it's
it's
simple.
as
It's,
simple
it's
as
as
Where You
simple
Live.
as Where You Live. Is a good start on Amazon. I think that'll probably get it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And
know.
we're getting ready to do a republication here pretty soon. I'm going to change.
Oh,
I'm going to
good.
change the ending. Update a few things, but yeah.
All right. And I like the idea of the kitchen table talk too, because I'll tell you, my dad and I, my mom died very suddenly. Without warning or anything, right? And so nobody ever had that conversation. My dad and I would talk, and he, for whatever reason, felt more comfortable talking about things with me, and I had a really good idea of what he wanted in terms of with the way he, how he saw his life ending and things. And so, and it was great. I can joke about sisters all we want, but I have three of them. And, and I was like, this is what dad wants.
Oh, you were the
In
bossy brother.
Well, I wasn't the bossy brother, actually. I was just more like the informative brother, Carol. Like, I've been bossed around by them for way too long. It was just I was just able to say, I know, no, Dad and I talked about that. He does not. This is not. This is what he. This is this is where his head was,
That's
kind of
great.
thing. Which is really terrific. So, how do you get new clients? Or if in fact you take new clients on?
Funny question. So I mean, it's not a funny haha question, but interesting question is, as an advisor, I'm really not looking for new clients, so to speak.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
clients are one of three: an advisor who's open-minded and willing to take a different look at the way that they're doing things, a new
Mm,
look at the conversations that they're having with their clients. It could be an
okay.
advisor who maybe has been in the business a really long time and has a book of business that's very aging, right?
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of the fact of the matter is there are a lot of financial advisors exactly in that position right now.
Yeah. So what better way to let's pull all those people together and let's have a party and let me ignite the fire under those clients that maybe that advisor has not even seen for a while, and we can talk about some of these things in what I do. The other thing is maybe there's a older advisor that has a junior advisor that just joined them. Again, what a great opportunity to
Mhm.
have a party. Let's get everybody there, introduce the new advisor, and hey, here's a new conversation that you can have about all of these topics as I do my presentation with them. Um, we do the clients and their families as well. So,
Mm.
like if my clients are older, maybe we invite their families to come.
Oh, no, I like
Um,
that idea.
all of that. So, I do that. One of my talks that I do talk about is about a boat and who's on. It's a rowboat. And I do a presentation about all the people on the boat need to have their oar in the water and all going the same direction. And so, who are your people on your boat? So that's kind of and really in the scheme of things, I feel like it's the advisor that is leading the rowing cadence as we go down the river, because someone has to let everyone know when to do the stroke, right? Are you familiar with those boats
Yeah,
that
I
go
am.
down? Yeah. So you can picture it in your
I
mind
am.
right now, right? And, the stroke goes by the beat of the drum. And I feel it's the financial advisor that should be the person who's beating that drum. And so, who else is on your boat? So, we're looking for advisors who are willing to have those conversations or let me introduce that thought to their people. And then I just hop in Betty and go home and leave that wonderful idea in the minds of their clients that now want to again meet with their advisor. The other thing that I do is speak with companies and organizations to all of their advisors at once. So not necessarily clients in the room, but advisors in the room, and
Yeah.
sharing the tactics, I guess, if you will, of how to present these conversations. I've worked with many companies who have the best resources for talking to clients, but they go unused. Those resources, you learn about it at an event and you're like, oh, that's cool. It's so cool. I'm going to put it right up here on my shelf and I'm not going to look
I'm
at it
gonna put
again for a
it
year or
over
two.
here.
Right. So what I'm doing is I'm actually giving the advisor the tools, not just a book to stick on the shelf, but the actual way to have the conversation, to bring the clients out. Let me do that for them and they can take it from there. I'm not a book you can put on your shelf.
Yeah, that's good. No, you're not a book, not a book, not at all. And it's funny. You reminded me. I know a guy who went into the financial advising business, became an FA. His father was in the business, and so he sort of followed in the footsteps of his father. His father's still there, but his initial client list because his father had been doing it for so long, were the older clients. And it gave him a very unique perspective. It's interesting when you talk to him because he's keenly aware there is a difference between clients who are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s and people who are in their 20s and their 30s. And not everybody gets the advantage of that. You're offering that unique perspective and that advantage in the services that you're putting out here.
Yep. And, some of those older clients, they don't want to talk to the new guy. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I'll talk to your dad. I'll just wait till he can talk to me, especially if he's still there. Same with when I sold my business, right? My clients didn't want to talk to the new girl. Nah, I'll wait and talk to Carol. But by throwing the celebration and having the celebration and introducing things in a different way, now it kind of like smooths things over. And oh, by the way, my son is really learning more and more about this subject, and he's going to be able to meet with you on the things that Carol is talking about today. So there's so many ways that we can help bridge that gap of succession planning and all of that. And on the other side of it, so that's really the advisor side of it, but also on the client side for seniors who are listening, who are thinking to themselves, holy cow, my advisor doesn't do all of this.
Right.
Contact me, call me. We'll chat about what you're looking for in an advisor. And I have contacts all over the country and in Canada for that matter. And, we can connect you to someone who can have those kinds of conversations or at least lead you in a direction. I've done several meetings with families who are going through the elder care process.
Okay.
And that's something that I can help with as well. So we'll be putting all these packages out together when the website gets finished and up and rolling and people can see all of that.
Yeah, no, that is going to be terrific. Well, we're fast approaching the end of this episode. You got any idea? Can you give us a tease on what lays ahead in episode 3?
You know what, Bill? It's going to be fun. We are going to kick off episode 3.
Don't kick anybody out.
We're not kicking anyone out.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, anyway. Give me a minute, though. I probably will. Episode 3 is a work in progress, and I want to say a work of art, but I don't know if that's the right thing to say. It's kind of a secret, but it's going to be something very cool, and it's all going to be about what people think of advisors, what people think about the help that they've received, and it's going to be a totally different format than just me and you, Bill.
Hot dog.
Yeah, I'm
more
excited.
Voices in the mix, more thoughts in the air. I like that idea a lot, as a matter of fact.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see the finished product. It's all in my mind right now. So once we pull it out, we've got a lot of things coming together.
So those of you who are listening to this podcast, you're not going to want to miss that one. And the best way to not miss the next episode is to become a subscriber. Just hit the follow button, because then when Carol drops the next episode, you'll be notified. It's that simple. You'll be notified and you can give it a listen. And if you like the podcast, I would really encourage you to tell people about it. Give it a review. Word of mouth promotion is a very cool thing and a very nice thing. And it's, it's an authentic thing if you like it. It's great. Until next time, on behalf of Carol, I'm Bill Tucker. I want to thank you for listening to the podcast today. And Carol, you got any last thoughts here before we head out the door?
You know what? Here's our little saying, Bill. Until next time, keep living, keep learning, keep celebrating every moment. Be jubilant.
Love that. See you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to JubilAge, where we celebrate the joy of aging and explore the financial wisdom to thrive in every stage of life. We hope you found today's conversation insightful, whether you're a financial advisor looking to better serve your senior clients or someone embracing the journey of aging. Remember, aging is a privilege, And with the right knowledge and perspective, it can be a vibrant, fulfilling experience. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share JubilAge with others who could benefit from our discussions. Until next time, keep living, keep learning, and keep celebrating every moment. Stay jubilant. To learn more about Carol's techniques and training, or if you would like to invite Carol to speak to your aging clients, please get in touch by calling 719-545-5777 or emailing jubilage@crbydesign.com. You can also use the same contact information to be a guest on the show. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Carol Chiarito. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.